Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome back to round 7 of season 7 of our F124 Haas driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. Of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live a few days ago, I would highly recommend going back and check it out. Of course, last week was rather heavy with sprint races inside this series, but yeah, now obviously luckily we've got a few more normal Grand Prix before the next one in the Styrian Mountains. But yeah, Miami was quite a chaotic Grand Prix. I wasn't feeling very well recording that video. As you can hear probably on this one as well, I'm still not exactly 100%, but obviously the show must go on. So yeah, we return though this weekend here to the Emilia Romagna Imola circuit. Oscar Piastri leads the World Championship by 1 point at the top of the table, ahead of George Russell there. Lando, Norris still in third, ahead of Leclerc and myself. We are third now in the Constructors though, just ahead of Mercedes, and Pierre Gasly has scored actually quite a few good points in the last few races as well. They're still yet to finish lower than 11th so far this year for our teammate Pierre. But yeah, this is a circuit though that we've always had good pace at in years gone by. If you take a look back, our last result here was a P4. The year before that was a P1. So we have actually won at this venue in previous seasons as well. So hopefully we can continue on that this weekend. Get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs. And if you want to help really support us as well, you can click the join button for just £1 a month. You get early access to a load of videos and a few other cool perks as well. But yeah, without further ado then, let's head out here for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix.
Welcome to the circuit named for Ferrari. It is qualifying at a special arena for motorsport. Welcome to Imola.
Well, to claim pole around this venue is always a pretty special feeling, and obviously especially to try and win the Grand Prix on a Sunday afternoon as well. But let's see what we can do then throughout this session. Hopefully it's going to be a good fun track for the car and for myself there. It's so much commitment, so much curb as well. You got to try and take around this place, but when you get it hooked up, it is so satisfying as well then, as in towards the Villeneuve chicane there, trying to get away with just 2 downshifts right the way through, and then in through Tosa there, slowest, or one of the slowest corners of the lap time. We actually went purple through that first sector. The only issue I have found in free practice is that you do get through quite a lot of battery around this venue as well, so that's going to be something we have to be really careful of as we try not to open up the circuit too much through Aqua Minerale. We've got to enjoy this circuit whilst we can, because I don't think it's going to be on the calendar for too much longer in years to come there, as through this chicane we go up over the crest. Yeah, I really do think probably after 2025 we're not going to see this circuit renewed again for Formula 1, as fun as the venue is and historical its importance in the world of motorsport there. But there we are at the final corner. That is going to be pole position number 2 of the year. I will take it. Well, there we go then. This is definitely going to be a Ferrari-powered circuit. We will take pole position there by 3.5 tenths over Oscar Piastri, so easily one of the largest margins we've seen so far this year. Russell will line up third. Fittipaldi in the second Ferrari will be on the second row there. Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, he getting a very good effort done ahead of Alonso and both Red Bulls there. Awasa will round out the top 10. Lando Norris down in P11. So that is a big disappointment for the McLaren man. I assume he'll be starting the race anyway from the back of the field after his mechanical failure last weekend. But yeah, a lot of drivers out of position here, so that's going to make the race very interesting.
A lap of Imola, anti-clockwise of course, unlike most Formula 1 circuits, will take our drivers round 3.1 miles of track. 19 turns, 9 right-handers and 10 left. Drivers will need to be precise at the hairpin turn 7, given the subsequent uphill section. Without a good exit from that corner, they'll lose a lot of time on that stretch. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Firestarter lines up on pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Fittipaldi, Leclerc, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Sargent, Iwasa, Norris, Teo Porcher, Ocon, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Behrman, Vesti, Stroll, Joe, and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Well, here we are then down on the grid, ready for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. 32 laps ahead of us here, and the team want us to opt for a medium to hard compounder strategy. The sun is shining though, and that is really, really important. Hopefully, that sun is shining down on Haas, but I expect more likely on Ferrari alongside us. Oscar Piastri leads the World Championship by just a single point. He hasn't really been a dominant driver though so far this year, but it's 5 red lights on the grid. And he's going to be lights out, and away we go there. And I actually think starting P2 isn't much of a disappointment here. Look at George Russell, though, from 3rd on the grid, immediately moving up into P1. Then Oscar Piastri, trying to look around outside at that first corner. Not going to allow that to happen after a little bit of wheel-to-wheel banging there through that first turn. Enzo Fittipaldi seems to have lost 1 spot off the start as well. So I think, yeah, George Russell absolutely nailed that getaway. To kind of slide up the middle between myself and Oscar there on the run towards turn 1. I mean, he pretty much dispatched the pair of us incredibly quickly as well then. But yeah, normally the McLaren has been utterly dominant over 1 lap pace and maybe kind of been reined back in a little bit over race pace. But Suzuka and Miami recently, and really even actually Shanghai, McLaren have really comfortably had the fastest car over anybody else. They don't even have the best car according to kind of the in-game performance still. So very, very interesting that, you know, McLaren, both their drivers seemingly able to get a lot out of the car they've got underneath them. And clearly it's a car as well that kind of allows them to attack, allows them to be confident and really believe in it. Well, George Russell then, of course, the only man seemingly towards the front of the order without DRS. I think Awasa as well might just have lost sight of that group in front of him there. But to the outside, the McLaren backing towards turn 1. And well, Russell there enjoying a couple of laps led at the front of the order. But we will now claim P1 once more. Let's see if we've got the pace to try and break away from him. Problem, of course, again, is this is a circuit with 1 DRS zone. It's a rather large one, though. So it does kind of dominate the lap. Oh, Russell again, though. It does seem like we kind of get a couple of laps to build on each other. Whoa, hello. I didn't expect it to kind of move back over the way he did. That scared the life out of me. The noise in my ear are those wheels banging together. But, yeah, Russell and I just seem to have a little bit extra. I mean, Oscar Piastri as well, doing what Oscar Piastri does best. And just waiting in the wings, ready to pounce. But yeah, definitely seems like Leclerc, Fittipaldi and co just hanging on kind of to our coattails here. Would only take a couple of really fast laps to kind of split this group of 7 into potentially a group of 3 and a separate group of 4. Oh, come on! How on earth do you break traction like that through there? It was fine, and then immediately just failed to grip up, and that's really, really going to cost us and actually put us back in kind of Logan Sargent's range in this Grand Prix. Luckily, again, I know we've got good pace there, so we're going to have to try and catch back up to Pierre Gasly. What that's also done somehow is actually given Russell quite a bit of breathing room at the front. So now Oscar Piastri under pressure from Leclerc back in towards that first corner. Leclerc will try and go around the outside of the Australian there, and I think he's made the move happen. Luckily, that does kind of allow us to close back in on that whole group. But Russell now, he's been given a huge opportunity. Well, we have finally rocked back up then to the rear of our teammate Pierre Gasly. So the only issue now, of course, is the DRS strains here. Really, really difficult to try and find a way through. So obviously, normally we try and call team orders here, just let me by. You know, we're in a World Championship fight. Pierre Gasly most certainly isn't. But admittedly, he's not actually that many points behind us. I mean, he's really going to try and race me for it. It would appear backing towards someone. He's really going to try and race me for it. What is he doing? Pierre Gasly there's gone absolutely mad. Backing towards someone they're trying to defend from us. I mean, we were perfectly alongside. I was giving him plenty of room. And suddenly he just kind of decided he wanted me pretty much in the inside wall. As just making another little slip up. trying to transfer between kind of the Giro Villeneuve chicane and Tosa. And you can see immediately then the gaps that's opened up ahead to Fernando Alonso. So perhaps a little bit more Haas civil war like we've had over the last couple of weekends. I mean, why on earth is Pierre Gasly going defensive in towards Acqua Minerale? This seems really, really weird at the moment then. I mean, it should hopefully mean that getting back past him in towards Turn 1 is going to be a whole lot easier, as long as we haven't given Logan Sargent the DRS as well a bit further behind. So just being careful that we avoid that one then. I guess the other good thing, of course, is that Russell at the front really doesn't seem to be breaking away all too quickly from anybody else at the moment then. But we'll have to try and go the other side of Pierre Gasly in towards that first turn. Again, Pierre really tried to squeeze me towards the wall, but hopefully we can drag him back to Fernando. Oh, George Russell. I think Russell's got issues at the front of the order then, because Oscar Piastri now has moved up into P1 there, but it's not often you see moves on the exit of Tosa. So whether Russell is either just taking too much out of his tyres, or perhaps has some mechanical gremlins on that McLaren car, he is definitely much, much slower than you would expect him to be at this stage of the Grand Prix. We are still trying to do the balancing act of closing in on those cars behind. Sorry, those cars in front even, I should say. But still trying to make sure that we've given Pierre Gasly the DRS there. Despite everything he's been doing to me so far this Grand Prix, I do still want to play the team game and benefit the pair of us here. But yeah, Russell really, really struggling at the moment for pace. Leclerc now, I might be able to try and apply some pressure back down towards Turn 1. Nope, Russell again is going to try and go for it on Oscar Piastri. But the team want us into the pit lane then at the end of this lap. Will we see any of this other group of cars in? Well, Oscar Piastri then still leading the way for Ferrari here. I mean, there's plenty of, well, pretty much every single driver in your top 6 either currently drives for Ferrari or has previously, with the exception of George Russell, as we've got yellows out further back. That's Lando Norris off in the gravel trap. So just a bit of an error there from him. Could that bring out a safety car or a red flag here? I think he's going to be able to get back on the road without too many problems. But yeah, Lando Norris, after a nightmare in Miami, this weekend seems to be going no better for him. So we will somehow get the jump on Oscar Piastri there. I mean, we definitely got done for an illegal pit lane kind of exit against him. Yeah, Lando Norris, though, still right at the rear of the field then, having a pretty terrible afternoon. But as we get going once more, that's actually given Russell a bit of breathing room. But we need to close back in on Fernando. Well, I think our entire group of cars then had a pretty slow round of pit stops here. Just the gaps seem to have opened up way more, as luckily we've just about kept inside the range of Fernando Alonso here, ready for the DRS. Every single other car, though, into the pits. So are we going to see the likes of Leclerc and Enzo Fittipaldi potentially win out in all of this? Let's just wait and see as they make their way back down of the pit lane there. Oh, Alonso really trying to get the squeeze on there. We tried to cover off Leclerc, but it's not going to happen. Wheel to wheel through Turn 1 and Turn 2 there. Luckily, we've already gone through the process of trying to warm back up our tyres. So Leclerc with no chance to really fight in towards the Giro Villeneuve chicane. But yeah, Russell again, though, kind of was handed that lifeline, potentially wasted it earlier on in this GP, and has been given another one. Here we go then, let's see if we can get a run back on Alonso in towards Turn 1. Should be fairly easy with the use of battery there. You can see top end, again, this Haas car really struggling. Fernando thought about trying to shove the nose back up the inside there, but won't allow that to happen. Let's go in pursuit of Georgie boy again. Oh, George Russell! Russell from the lead of the Grand Prix breaking down right in front of us then. I cannot believe that, and I saw him come out the chicane ever so slightly kind of out of line there, and I just immediately knew something was wrong with that McLaren car. And for the second weekend in a row then, McLaren facing a DNF, and I mean, this one therefore has been a complete write-off for the team. I was just thinking back to last season, where obviously Russell, after he made the mistake in Australia, he made yet another mistake here at Imola whilst battling with Verstappen for the win. And that basically from then on, he was never really a threat at the front of the order. And it perhaps again, Imola is going to be season defining for George. I mean, luckily for him, it seems like Charles Leclerc also suffering some mechanical issues. But for Oscar Piastri though, everything just starting to fit into place at the moment. He's still in P4, a little way behind his teammate. But 10 laps to go then of this Grand Prix. I think Russell held up Alonso a little bit. Things are just shaping up very nicely for us. We've fought our way back to the front. Now we've just got to keep it here. Oscar Piastri then, with just 7 laps to go, is moving his way back up through the order. And this is what he does. You know, he just had a bad pit stop, got jumped by quite a few cars. But he's just patient about it. He just thinks, you know, I've got plenty of laps to move my way back through the order. He's got back past Fittipaldi. Maybe there was some Ferrari team orders involved in that one, but he's moved back past Fernando Alonso as well towards the end of the afternoon. And I thought maybe this was going to be like a 12 or a 13 point kind of clawback against the Australian. Now it's looking like it's only going to be 7 or 8. Well, I tell you what, on days like today, you have to enjoy and remember how good this car can be inside this game. It's felt a little bit all over the show in recent weekends. I really thought that on paper Miami should have been a fantastic track for us. But in hindsight, I think I just compromised the pace, the race pace of the car too much to try and make it a bit quicker in qualifying, and that ultimately cost us there. But despite a couple of little errors today, it looks like with 1 lap to go here from Imola, we're going to bag pole position, fastest lap, and race victory here. Admittedly, yes, a couple of things have gone our way. George Russell, Charles Leclerc, Lando, Norris all suffering with various issues, but ultimately Oscar Piastri is the one leading the World Championship, and Ferrari, they've just been a little way away from Haas all weekend long up to this point. You know, this is a venue that I do truly love. And, you know, like I was mentioning in qualifying, if it does come off the calendar quite soon and we do lose it from the F1 games, I am going to miss it because it is so much fun inside. You know, ever since it came back on F1 2021, it is such a fun venue to really kind of race around inside this title there. But rounding our way through the final few corners then here from Imola, we haven't even won a race yet this season. I genuinely, off the top of my head, can't remember the last race we won inside this game. I want to say it was like Singapore last year, if I remember correctly, but it doesn't matter now because through the final couple of corners we are going to go. It is going to be victory once again here at Imola. 26 points on the board. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, guys, yes! Come on, boys! Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
And that's it then for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And what a sensational victory they've managed to pull off here.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
Today was another great race and an even greater victory for Haas. Here they come now to step out onto the top of the podium. They'll be incredibly happy with today's result.
Well, there we are then. We will take victory here at Imola. 6.5 seconds clear of Oscar Piastri come the checkered flag. And I mean, honestly, when you look at that, it looks like it was a fairly simple race for us, but those of you that stuck around and watched the entire video know it was nothing of the like. Fernando Alonso P3 bags another podium for Aston Martin ahead of Enzo Fittipaldi. Gasly in P5 ahead of Perez, Leclerc, Sargent, Pourchaire, and Daniel Ricciardo does get a point for VCARB as well. They're beating out both the Alpines, and I tell you what, Lance Stroll, I don't give him much credit inside this game, but a decent drive from 18th to 12th as well when all is said and done there. Hamilton and Norris right at the rear of the field. Russell and Iwasa are two drivers that failed to see the checkered flag, so I believe we must have been the only Brit this weekend to score, which does not happen all too often inside this game. Championship-wise, though, it means Oscar Piastri now has a 19-point buffer ahead of Russell at the top of the table. We are up into third ahead of Norris and Leclerc there, and Fittipaldi has been very consistent so far, not a million miles away either. Alonso still ahead of Gasly. Hamilton now just 2 points clear of Théo Pourchaire and 1 point ahead of Perez there, who's got a further 1 point buffer over his teammate Logan Sargent. Further down though, Ricciardo, more points on the board for him. Still leaves us with that bottom four yet to score. Constructors-wise, McLaren's gap at the top slashed to just 5 points ahead of Ferrari. We open up a healthy buffer ahead of Mercedes as well there, with Aston Martin still ahead of Red Bull, VCARB, Alpine and Williams. Thank you all so much for watching though. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the, I believe, Monaco Grand Prix.